What I'm now going to do is I'm going to do my 4x4 solve. Actually, it's a 3x3 solve, so I'm going to do a 3x3 supercube solve. So I've already got this here, this here, and this here, so I'm going to continue and finish getting my cross. Puzzles like this are very satisfying with each step because you have to take that much more care with each step to make sure you're doing it right. So the victory is that much better. Now there's something that I should do actually, because yeah, I've got this, but I don't have it coordinated with these centers, so I really should lock that into place before I do anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to correlate the centers before I put this in here, and that's really what I should do with any supercube. So I'm going to turn this to the center that this is coordinated with, being blue and yellow. We've got blue and yellow over here. So I'm just going to rotate everything in the proper position. This yellow and blue correlates with this. Green and white correlates with this. This correlates here, so we're good. Now that I've done that, now I'm free to put the proper corners in, edges in rather. Don't get confused with this. That's not the one that we're doing. So I need the green and white, which is right over light green and white over here. So I want to turn this in. What I'm going to do is move it to the bottom layer first, and I have to keep my orientation steady. So this has to be coordinated with the center over here. So I'm going to move it to the side, move it here, and then coordinate it with this. So ignoring this layer here, I'm coordinating these guys together and moving it up. So I got these guys coordinated correct. All right, how about the blue and orange? Blue and orange right over here. Now I can't just turn it up because it's not going to be correlated with the center, right? So turn it down, bat it out of the way, quickly move this center back before I lose myself. Now I can move this to the side and then turn this center so that it can coordinate with this edge, like so, blue to blue, yellow to yellow, and now I move it up so it's coordinated. And then I'm free to, if I need to, move this back, but I think we're okay. Next is yellow and white over here. So I can't just flip it up like this, right? It's a supercube. First off, it's not coordinated right, and this is rotated. So let's move this down. Okay, so I think what we have to do is bring it down here, bring it up like this, and now bring it across here. Okay. And bring this up here. All right, so believe it or not, we have the cross. Doesn't look like much of a cross, but it is consistently a cross. Ignore this, that would only confuse. This is good here, these two here, these two here. Ignore this layer. So now what I'm going to do is put the corners in. Ignore this, these are the actual corners. So where's the little white corner piece? Right over here. So I'm going to turn it down, across, and just keep doing that until I get the white piece in. R-I-D-I-R-Ds. I probably did a longer, more cumbersome version of that. There we go. So that's good over here. And now the light green. Not here yet because it's here, so I'm going to put the blue one in. This. So turn, turn, and up. And now yellow. Right over here. So we're slowly getting our pill back, almost ready to take our medicine, but, oh, not quite yet. This has to come in. Turn, turn, and up. Okay, so you can see we have our first side here, correlated with these centers. So this is now, just like before, in the previous non-cuboid version, freed up. So now we turn this on the side, and we go ahead and do our middle placements here, edge placements. I've got green and orange. Let's see where that correlates. Right down here. So great fun. So this comes right nestled in between these guys here. Doing the algorithm to do the edge switch here. UI, LI, U, L, U, F, UI, FI, or something like that. So that's in here. So you can see it's really nothing new. It's pretty simple once you've got your perspective right. Turn, 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 but we are in anticipation of where the challenge of this, the unique challenge of this comes from. So that's correlated here. And what else? Here's a green and white. This is going to slip really nicely between these green and whites. Turn, 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 and here we go. Okay, almost there. This comes into here. So it's all coming together nicely. Looking forward to the pill-shaped back again. Turn, 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 and down. Okay, so our middle layer is done. It might be hard to see. Remember, these are our centers, these are edges in between. So now we put this in. And once again, we got lucky. We didn't have the usual 4x4 parity, which we could have. We have an L formation over here. These edges are in. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and roll these in. Now I could have had a 2 up and 1 down, in which case I'd have to do a Red Bull with this. But don't have to worry about that. So F, R, U, R, I, U, I, F, I. There's my line. F, R, U, R, I, U, I, F, I. There is something that we have to bear in mind here. We had no problems putting in the edges by doing RU, RIU, R2, URI, right? Because this correlated with this center just fine, both of these reds. However, this is Supercube edge placement, which could be a little different. We kind of got lucky with this too, because this edge correlates over here, and these guys just need to be permuted. So it's the same kind of thing. R, U, R, I, U, R, to U, R, I. Now, these are all in over here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the corners in. This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong. So I'm just going to randomly pick one. U, R, U, I, L, I, U, R, I, U, I, L. This is correct. Now everything else should be wrong, and it is. So same thing. Turn, 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 and turn. So how are we doing? Good, 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 good. We RIDIRD them into submission. So same as that last step that we just did. So this is in. Now we turn this en masse. Bring this up here. RIDI. R, D, R, I, D, I, R, D. Move this here, and same thing. R, I, D, I, R, D. And this should do it. So, as promised, we have our pill form back, the native shape back, and we also have the first layer completely solved, the second layer solved, correlating with the first over here. Well, it's really the third and the fourth layer, so these middle layers are solved, and this first layer is solved over here too. So we have ourselves in the same position as this, and although it's a little hard to see here, you can see that these all correlate here, and these correlate over here, straight on down. Now, here's where we get to it. Here's what makes this a supercuboid and makes it different from anything else that we've done before. Well, what I do next is I'm still reducing this, and I'm still doing edge reduction, but actually I'm going to do this the way that I would do a 4x4x2 at this point. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat this like I did, say, a 4x4x5. And I'm going to start putting in all these centers. I'm going to sort of look at these as centers. So in a way, I'm doing center reduction. Now the good news is there's no parity at this point with any of these. But let's say we've already got this in over here. So this is in over here. We'll go ahead and put the next blue one in. This is also in over here, but I'm going to ignore that for now. So what I'm going to do is, this is moved off to the side, and I'm going to use this as my quote workspace. So here is the blue, other blue over here. So I'm going to move this in. Well, actually, I'll try to retain this as much as I can. Move this in, double turn, and move it back. Now the reason that I did that is so that I can put these two opposite each other. Now in the process of doing this, I might start to mess up some of these. I'll try not to, but that's okay. It wasn't really my total goal at that point. But this is going to come to here. So double turn it. This is now reduced. I'm now going to bring it to this side. Or I can bring it to this side. So double turn this here, move it in, double turn it here, move it back. All right, now before I turn this, I may want to put some other things in. So this is all in. I've got a green one here. Why don't I start working on the green one? So I'm going to move this out of the way, double turn, move it back, and then move it here. Now again, you may find me disrupting some of these. I'm going to try to maintain it as much as I can, but that's okay. Actually, I can turn this back and see how these come back. Well, not really. So now that I've done that, let's see if we can put the green one in. We've got the green one here. I'll double turn this over here, double turn over here. So now that I have that, I'm going to put this in place here, double turn, and bring it back. Now, you may find that these are no longer correlated with this, but that doesn't really bother me too much because I can easily put these back in. As a matter of fact, if you're a little skittish about it, I can do that right now. And the way that I would do that is first I have to find what color this is supposed to be. If this is green, this is orange over here. Double turn this one gets turned, and this double turns back. So I haven't really disrupted these edges that I did with my original 3x3 solve. And I put everything back in. These are still going to be reduced. It's a little messed up from here, but that's easy for me to get back in. See, I can just go like that, and I can just go like that. And all is right with the world. So these are reduced, and all of these guys are reduced here too. So now that I've done that, let's just put these at the proper places. Double turn this here, double turn this here. All right, so what I have is all of these are in. And then from there I can just take it with the rest of the solve, which is, I've converted this basically into a 3x3x2. So blue and red, find the blue and red, which is here. This is the correct one. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. This is in. I need the red and green. I create a placement parity in this layer and these two layers, so I'm going to hold it in this position here. Red and green here, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Bring this back, fix the parity there. And now these two have to swap over here. This has to come down here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. So we're good here. So this whole layer is good. Now I have to put this layer in. I'm going to find two corners that are correct, which is here. Move it to the side. And then I'm going to do a corner swap, which will bring this to here and bring all the corners here correctly. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, DI, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. Now remember, this is more of a demonstration than a tutorial. That's why I'm going kind of fast. But all of these are in, all these corners. So all I have to do is now do adjacent edge swaps. Edge swapping these guys. So I'm going to swap these two to get the orange here. I'm going to keep holding in this position because my parity is here. Now understand, it's easy for me to see that parity. It's going to be a little harder with this guy. You know, I'll do an opposite edge swap to get the green here. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. And that fixes the placement parity here and here. And now I just have these two to put in, this to here. 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. I've got placement parity here, but that's okay because one opposite edge swap and we're done. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Any further questions on how to solve this, I can refer you to the 4x4x6 tutorial. But so that's how you put that in. Now, translate that to this. This is where it becomes more difficult. When I was placing the edges on these layers, there's a lot of equivalencies that I could have had. This can come here, this can come here, it really doesn't matter. Here, it's pretty specific. So how am I going to get out of this one? Well, I have to pay close attention. Let's see what can be placed here already. So over here, I've got a green. Now I have to keep in mind where are my centers and where are my edges. So that in itself is kind of a challenge. So I have to pay very close attention where I'm putting things. So this goes here and this goes here. What I want to do is just like I did with this one, is I want to have, say, a workspace and start putting edges in. Why don't I find the white and yellow? That's what I'm going to do, is find the white and yellow. Or alternatively, I can say, this is my workspace where I'm going to do all the action, and this is where I'm going to put it in. So where is the white that'll go next to this green? That's what I'll do. Well, here's a couple whites to choose from here. Here's a white over here. Now I might actually even have one that's in. This is a white and yellow, but it's not the same white and yellow as this. As you can see, if I turn it down, these two don't correlate, they're opposite. Which means this white can find a very nice home next to this green. So if I were to move this white in here, like so, this is the proper edge. So what I'm going to do is do exactly that. I'm going to go ahead and move this in, like so. Now I'm going to bump this out to the side and move everything back. So bump this to the side. Double turn, bump it back. And if I want to, well, I'll just keep it here. Well, I'll have to double turn and then move this back. It was important to do that to keep this in the right configuration. But what I did, or at least what I hope I did, is I have a green and white here somewhere. Here's the green and white. So I can even move this in to prove it to myself. So here's the green and white. So that's in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it kind of semi-cuboid style. I'm going to get all the bottom ones in. So I've got this one in over here. Now I want the white and yellow. So where's the other white? Where's the other yellow? So here's the yellow over here. Is it the white one? Is it the right one? No. So I'm looking for the other white in this layer, which is right over here. So here's the white. So this white correlates with this. So what I'm going to want to do is put the yellow one that goes right next to it. And that's going to be this guy. So I'm going to move this like so, 1, 2. Now I got to make sure that I'm correlating this okay and keeping things lined up, or I will get confused. There we go. So what I'm trying to do, so I don't lose perspective, is I'm trying to put a yellow next to the white over here, so this white and this yellow. Now I want to do that without offsetting what I put in over here, so I'm just going to move this down so it puts it in. I'm going to move it off to the side, double turn, move it back, and I'll double turn this back again, and now I can move this like so. Okay. Confusing? Probably. Actually, this I have to double turn back to get this over here. Okay, so this white and yellow is now on the top layer here. If I wanted to move this down, now here's where the confusion comes in. So this actually belongs over here. And then all is right with the world. Okay, so see how easy it was for me to get turned around. Anyway, so this is fine, this is fine. We'll make sure that we're correlating with all the centers over here. Now what I want is I want the yellow and blue together. And actually this yellow is going to correlate with this blue, because this yellow will come to here and this blue stays over here. Well, yeah, actually I'm going to move this yellow one up here somehow. So what I'm going to do is just turn, bump it out of the way, and turn back. turn back. Hopefully not messing anything up. So this blue is now going to correlate with this yellow up here. Now before I do this, I'm going to move this 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so this blue is here, this yellow is opposite. But if I move it, I'm going to end up destroying this. So I got to get this out of the way. Where am I going to put it? Why don't I just stick it up here for the moment, for the time being. So what I want to do is move this, say, over to here, on the same side as this, so it's out of the way. So how am I going to do that? Well, what I'll do is I'll move it in like so. Double turn. And move it back like thus. And so I don't get confused, I can double turn it again. So these two are correlated with the bottom layer here. It's just that these two belong here and this belongs down here. But at least they're out of the way and not over here. So now I've got this blue free to take this yellow. And I have to plan this now because when I put this yellow down here, I'm not going to put it in any of these spaces here. I got to put it over here out of the way. So we'll double turn it. So there's my blue and yellow. Now move it out of the way. Double turn. Move this back. And we can double turn it again. And now I have to remember to bring this back. Okay. So, how are we doing? This has to come into here. These guys have to correlate with each other. Well, I can easily go like this. So this is back where it needs to be. This is where it needs to be. This has to come down to here. So just for the sake of not confusing things, I'm now going to try to transition this over here, which means I'm going to double turn, move it in, and double turn. Okay, have I messed it up? Hopefully not. Good, good, and good. And I haven't messed any of these up. So where does that leave me? Now that leaves me with blue and putting a green in over here. So light green, which is right over here. So I can just move this into place. Now we can plan out how we're going to do this. This has to come into here. And this is on this side, this is on this side, and I already have this over here. So this can't be here while this is being turned. So once again, I can move this up to here. So I'm going to go like so, double turn, go like thus, and double turn. Okay, so now let's not lose track. Now that this is here, I'm looking for the green is over here. This is where this is supposed to be, but it's safely up here. This is where this is supposed to be, but it's safely up here. And this don't do nothing for nobody, no how. So this is gonna come down here. Yes, it is as confusing as it sounds, and yeah, my brain is turning into knots. And this is over here as well. So let's put this over here. So now we've got the green and blue. Now let's bat this out of the way and substitute it with this. So that means I move it into here, double turn, and move it back. And now without any further ado, quickly move this back over here. Actually, let's make sure we do this right. This comes here, and this comes over here. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and get all of our bottom centers in. I'm going to move this over here, or bottom edges rather. This is good. This comes down here, but this is good. Okay, so I got to get this down to here. So I'll move this over here. Double turn. Bring it in, and double turn. Yikes. Good, good. White and green is right over here, so I'm going to do that same technique. Now, this isn't even the hard part. And double turn. Okay, looking better. Good, 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 golly, Good golly. Okay, all these are fine. We have all of our edges in, centers, edge, centers, edge. Now, the top part. How are we going to do this?